So tough question. Give us your best month? How much cars did you sell? How much money did you make?
So the most cars I've sold was just over 24, but I don't think that was necessarily the most income. I mean, a $10,000 month is pretty common. As far as a really good month, you're looking somewhere north of 20,000.
$20,000. So you're telling me you've made $20,000 in a month?
Yes, yes.
That's not bad. Not bad. What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Rob Review here. I have my friend Christian Estevez. Say hi to the camera, Chris.
Hi, how's it going? Go by Beaster 805. That's
Yes, Mr. Beaster 805.
happy to be here.
So, welcome to the show / podcast / YouTube video. Well, I'm not really sure what the plan is here, but we're trying new things. So, I wanted to invite my friend Chris here. He's a car salesman, and my channel is about pretty much reviewing products. And I wanted to give reviewing a career a try. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So basically, what he's trying to say is he's gonna review me,
Yes.
and we're gonna learn a little bit.
Well, we're gonna review you, me and the
Okay.
fans.
Okay, I'm the subject.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, dude.
Yeah. So
Tell us your backstory.
So I've been selling cars for about I'll be 6 years, coming up on July 27th. I wasn't always my intention to sell cars, but I applied and I got in a couple weeks after I graduated from the university. After I got my degrees, I had intentions of becoming more of an accountant, but here I am 6 years later.
Also, you didn't get your car salesman degree?
No, not quite. Some people like to think that I went to school to sell cars, but that's not the case.
All right. So you got your degree. This degree was in accounting?
I got a degree in business and economics.
Business. How long did it take you after college to get your job?
I applied to about 7 jobs total, and the car selling business was pretty much the only one that called me back. The other ones denied me. So they called me up 2 weeks after. I went in for an interview, and I started working the very next day. It's one of those businesses where as long as you're ready to work, they'll hire you.
All right. So what kind of interview questions did they ask you?
They asked me what I had done before, and none of it was exactly anywhere close to selling anything. My closest was retail at Kmart, which was helping out customers. So that's all I could say. But they liked the idea that I was able to work weekends.
All right.
Pretty much every day.
And do you need a degree for this to sell cars?
You don't need any type of training to get hired to sell cars. Most of the training's typically on the job.
All right. Cool. So, all right, your new career straight out of college. How long did it take you to get your first sale?
Probably I trained for 2 to 3 weeks. Times were different back then, but it varies. We were all in one small office, probably 5 of us. Sometimes companies like to train people at the same time, and they see who sticks around. We trained for a couple weeks. Couple managers, they went over questions customers would ask. They went over the process of the sale until we had somewhat of an idea of what needed to be done to sell a car.
All right. And do you remember when was your first sale, or the customer, the car?
Yeah, I remember my first sale. It was a GMC Acadia 2012. I sold it probably 2 weeks after I was hired, and I still remember my when the manager told me my commissions, because we get paid kind of commissions and where I work. It was I told me I made like $600.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So your first car sale?
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. Just did what they told me.
And did they just throw you in there for your first sale, or did you have someone watching over you? You know, like was it a partnering kind of like? So was someone keeping an eye on you, or did they let you go and let you sink or swim?
You know, for the most part, when you're first starting out, you go out there, you find the customer, you try to put them in a car, try to get them on a test drive, and bring them inside. And if you're pretty new at the business, you're gonna get some help from the manager quite soon after that.
All right. Let's see. Do you drive a nice car yourself? Does a car salesman need to have a nice car?
Not exactly, but most car salesmen do buy cars from the dealer they actually work at. I bought a couple cars from there myself. I don't exactly drive the newest model. I spend more time driving the cars on the lot, new and used, a lot more than my car either way. So it doesn't really make sense for me to have a new car.
So you don't think that a customer sees you driving a beater, you don't think they'll want to buy a car from someone else, or it doesn't matter?
I don't think so. I mean, the customer's main concern is finding a car for themselves, not really what car the salesperson is driving.
All right. So how was your first year selling? Would it be, do you know, like around how many cars you sold? How much so you do make money off commissions. Do you get hourly? Is all your salary commission only, or do you have a base salary for the year?
You know, it can vary. You actually get at least minimum wage, so based off of how many hours you worked. But for the most part, if you sell enough cars, you get paid commissions, which is always the goal. They usually pay out every 2 weeks or twice a month. It can vary based off of the dealership. So you want to make sure that you're covering your hours, although it's minimum wage isn't very much.
It's not big money bags, that's for sure.
No, but at the end of the day, the paychecks do say minimum wage plus commissions.
All right.
But going back to your questions, as far as my first year of selling, I was probably selling maybe 6 or 7 cars a month. It was there was quite a few times where I made what they call hours. So essentially, you didn't make enough commissions to cover your paycheck or the time that you were there.
So you didn't sell enough commission to make what a normal person would work minimum wage for the month.
Right. There was even this one time where I sold 9 cars. I was the top salesman, and the top salesman in the past would get $1,000 in a bonus. But most of my 9 deals were what they call minis, and the mini back in the day was about $100. So you imagine, let's say my commissions were $1,500 plus $1,000 salesman of the month, $2,500. Let's say I worked way too many hours. My hours were probably closer to 3,000.
All right.
So I made hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't very good for my first year.
Okay.
Probably only sold 10 cars like a couple times. I remember my first month I sold 10 cars. One of the managers took me out to eat.
That's cool. So after their first year, did you enjoy what you were doing? Did you enjoy the working as a car salesman? Do you enjoy your coworkers, the environment, working? I know from what I know, it's probably a little bit competitive. It might be competitive between the coworkers, you know? How's that? Are they your coworkers considered like your colleagues or competition, you know?
You know, it's really a competition because we're all competing for the same customers at the end of the day. We're competing to sell a limited amount of cars that we have. For some reason, customers tend to pick the same car, and we can only sell it so many times. So some of the difficulty can be getting the car the customer wants, and they can be picky from time to time. But as far as my first year or two selling cars, every time I'd go to work, I was wondering what I was doing there. not really the career I had in mind. But after a while, it kind of just became normal.
All right.
So in the beginning,
So it's probably beginning tough. It's pretty tough in the beginning, but something you get used to, you get better at.
yeah, you get acclimated. You try to make the best out of it. You just try to go to work and do your job.
All right, all right. So how do you? Let's talk about your job more, I guess. How do you get customers? Do you just wait on the lot, wait for your customers to come to you, or do you cold call a list of people and bug them while they're eating dinner?
There's many ways of getting customers, and waiting on the lot is one of them. There's a lot of walk-ins. Most of them go to service, and service customers do buy cars at some point. But besides doing that, there's a lot of phone calls involved. We're calling new people from list that typically don't really work. And then for the most part, we're calling people that we've spoken to in the past. Some of them are looking for certain cars, so we kind of keep an eye out for them.
And do you sometimes get repeat customers?
Yeah, I've had
Are
quite a
you
few.
do you make sure you do a good job to get repeat customers?
Yeah, for the most part, I try to help customers find a car that works for them. They won't buy it if it doesn't meet their needs or their payments. So I'm looking for repeat business. Customer loyalty is not just a one-stop shop. One sale isn't enough. You have to think about the future.
All right. So you said you've been doing it for about 7 years. Is that right?
Yeah, close. We're getting there.
So do you consider yourself pretty good now? 7 years in, you're one of the top dogs where you work.
I think once you reach a certain amount of hours doing anything, which in this case, the years that I've been there is probably reaches about 10,000 hours. You kind of get pretty good at it. The learning never stops. There's always something new. Try to limit your mistakes. But for the most part, just try to be consistent. That's the main goal. If you do your job, you're going to get the results that they're looking for.
All right. Cool.
All right, we're back from intermission.
Yes. So tell us the process of buying a car. How does one, if I want to go in and buy a car from you, what's the process?
So you depending on the type of customer you are, you will probably just walk in, you drive your car on the lot and start looking around.
Well, I don't have a car. I got dropped off.
Okay, yeah, that happens too sometimes. There are occasions where we pick up customers from home because
Well, that's good to know.
we have to do whatever it takes to make a sale.
Sounds right.
And
So,
there's
I
been
see. I'm here on the lot. I got dropped off by my mom. Hi, Mom. Looking at the cars, and I see this sweet 1980 Corolla. No, let's go something newer. Let's go new 2022 pickup truck that I really want. And I'm kind of, I'm trying to hide from the salespeople. I'm just trying to, I don't know. I don't trust salespeople. So what do you do with that?
I'll probably walk out and start greeting you. Probably going to wonder where your mom went because we'll probably be needing her to co-sign.
Probably.
You've never bought a car. And then try to find you a vehicle, get you started. We'll show you around. If you have a license, we'll take you for a test drive, try it out, and just try to move you step by step. So first step is getting you to find the car you like. We're going to test drive it. Answer any questions. There's a lot of features on some of these vehicles, and salespeople know most of them. And sometimes the customers have questions that we need to answer. Once we answer those questions, we bring the customer inside, and our ultimate goal is to sell them the car. So we're going to try to do a credit app, and we're going to try to get an idea of down payments if they're not paying cash. And if everything works out, we sell them a car, but things don't always work out as planned.
So, do you always need a down payment when you're buying a car?
You know, it's recommended. First-time buyers do have programs where typically they need 10% down at least, if not 20%, depending on the vehicle you need and if you have any type of credit cards. Believe it or not, they if you've had one for at least 6 months, it's gonna help you buy a car easier.
Okay, and how good does my credit? If I have terrible credit, am I just a no right away, or is there anything? Do I need to put more money down, or how does that work?
You know, for the most part, they say your job is your credit. It definitely helps for you to have at least 2 years of job history, so that the bank can see you're stable enough to be able to afford a car payment, let alone make the payments. And that's one of the reasons why they ask for the down payment, because they want to make sure you have some type of investment in the vehicle, and you'll lose that investment if you don't make the payments.
Okay, and so was the final price come between you and the customer, or do you do that tactic where you have to go talk to the manager, as we've all seen and hate that game, you know?
Well, we do have to go back and forth with the manager a lot of times.
Do you even talk to the manager?
We do.
Come on, let it know the truth right here on camera.
So
or do you go play Pac-Man for a couple of seconds?
One of two things. I've never played Pac-Man.
All right.
When I was with a customer, I have left the customer and gone for a quick break, but for the most part, I do talk to the manager and let him know where we're at with the deal. Or there are other times where I tell the manager that I got an offer from the customer, and then I told him, look, I'm just coming up here because the customer offered me something, but I'm letting you know what I'm going to do, which is go back and tell the customer this is not possible. So it can vary, but most of the time we do ask them for the next step.
Okay, let's say me and you, maybe you, I'm okay negotiating. Maybe you come back, give me a couple $100 off the car, and I like the deal. What's next?
We're going to get your insurance. Manager always wants to get the customer's insurance, full coverage. You know, they have to be protected when they drive off the lot. And then we're going to go check out the vehicle, make sure we get the miles off of it so we can report that. If it's a new car, we're going to get it washed and gassed, full tank. Used cars, we got to get the buyer's guides, and we might not put a full tank of gas in a used car. That's optional.
Okay, and if I don't have my down payment, how do I negotiate my my interest rate with you?
I mean, my manager always tells me the interest rate is not really negotiable. The customer qualifies for the interest rate, is what it comes down to, depending on their credit. It's what you qualify for.
Okay. So you handle the sale and financing?
No. Typically, there's salespeople, and then there's the manager, and then there's the finance manager. That person draws up the paperwork for the customer. He's gonna offer you extra insurances, extended warranty, gap. There's different types of protection that you can get to make sure you're fully protected. And the prices ultimately vary per vehicle. And at the end of the day, finance manager's goal is to get you financed and to sell you some products so he can make money.
Of course. And after that, I get my keys to my brand new car?
Yeah, once you're done signing paperwork, I mean, you could be in finance for 10 minutes. You could be in there for an hour. It depends on how easygoing you are. If you buy everything, you might be in and out quickly. And as far as the car being ready, it might not be ready right away. So we always try to time that perfectly so the car is ready when the customer gets out of finance.
Okay. And how long is usually that whole buying process? Is this like an hour time or a couple hours? What's a normal time for selling a vehicle?
Average is closer to 2 to 3 hours. 1 hour can be pretty quick. Those are very seldom.
Those are people that just say, yes, I'll pay the highest amount for this vehicle.
They just
Those
know
are
what
your
they
favorite
want.
customers.
Anyone who's willing to buy a car is a favorite customer of ours. Some people take longer than others.
Okay. And is there a better time to is there a best time to buy a car?
I mean, for the most part, it's typically the end of the month because the managers are in the 2-day business. So they'd rather complete a sale today and not tomorrow when it's next month, because the store gets paid off of last month's sales when it comes to the new month. And they want to make sure that they impress their bosses.
Do you ever have cash buyers that just pay out pretty much cash?
Yeah, we have cash buyers probably of 5 to 10% of the time. Most of them buy $20,000 to $30,000 cars. There is on occasion where we get a heavy buyer that pays the Corvette cash, for example.
Nice. How many Corvettes have you sold?
And the Corvettes, in the time that I've been there, maybe 10 at the most.
These are big ballers that come by them?
Not
guessing?
necessarily, the average age of a Corvette buyer has dropped over the years. I've sold some too as
All these Bitcoin millionaires.
not quite. I mean, we've had a few customers mention Bitcoin, but for the most part, most people are just your everyday working Joes,
Mhm.
They might not be rich, but it's the middle class for the most part, and they still spend a lot of money on car payments. They don't always have the money to pay it cash, but they do have the credit.
And just going back to these cash customers, is there a benefit of being a cash customer? Do you get more negotiation, more of a discount when you buy cash, or does it not matter?
I mean, a cash customer probably gets one of the best deals because they're not going to pay any interest for sure. They know exactly what they're paying for the car, because a lot of these payment buyers, at the end of the day, they don't know what their total is going to be. They just know that they have a payment to make and they can afford that payment.
Okay. Well, all right, Mr. Chris, Mr. Beaster 805. Let's get into what we're all here for, the money. You're selling cars, you're based off commission. It must be some pretty good money, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can vary considerably from one car to another.
All right. Well, what's the average commission for a new car, let's say?
I mean, it depends on the time, but for the most part, it's anywhere between 500 and 1,000.
Wow.
Commissions are vary based off a dealer.
Okay. Yeah, I bet. So, tough question. Give us your best month? How much cars did you sell? How much money did you make?
So the most cars I've sold was just over 24, but I don't think that was necessarily the most income. I mean, a $10,000 month is pretty common. As far as like a really, really good month, you're looking somewhere north of 20,000.
$20,000. So you're telling me you've made $20,000 in a month?
Yes.
That's not bad. I mean, I haven't even made that, and I'm using my bachelor's degree.
I guess
That's not bad for a job that doesn't require a school degree, right?
Yeah, not bad at all. Sales is known to be one of the most beneficial jobs out there. you make as much as you want to make.
All right, all right. And are you comfortable talking about how much you've made in a year?
I mean, it's not probably 200.
$200,000 in 1
200,000.
year. That's great. Sounds like a great business to be in.
Yeah, it's pretty common these days, especially with dealers charging more than regular price for cars. The used cars is ultimately varies based off of what we're in the vehicle and what we sell it for. But you often hear salespeople at many different dealers. They'll just tell you straight up how much they're making.
Okay.
Proud of it. They're in the business for the money.
And do you consider yourself, from what you've seen with your colleagues, are you an average car salesman, or do you think you consider yourself one of the top dogs? And what would you say an average car salesman would make? Just someone on an average selling. Just yeah, give me an average, because I don't, unless I'm wrong, I don't believe every car salesman makes $200,000 a year.
An average Joe probably makes around 8,000 during these times.
8,000 a month.
Yeah, but there was times like maybe 3 years ago where the average Joe was making 50,000. So the times are kind of inflated right now. They kind of say enjoy it while it lasts.
I bet.
Don't spend all your money in one place. Don't get used to it. Is what they say.
Yes, you definitely. It's risky being commission based, right? It's like not promised what you made last month for next month.
Right. Yeah. Every month you start over, and the goal is always to sell a certain number of cars, and the money usually comes behind it.
Oh, that sounds good. So, what type of person do you think would make a good car salesman?
For the most part, you're looking at someone who's a good listener. It's important to know what the customer wants. That way you can help them get what they're looking for. If they see that you're steering them the wrong direction, they're going to think you're either not helping them, maybe you don't have their best intentions in mind, or you're just trying to sell them something they don't want. So you want to make sure that you listen carefully to their needs and try to find them the best vehicle that fits their needs.
And do you need to be extroverted and the party guy, or can introverts do the job as well?
I mean, there's more often than not, there's a lot of extroverts in the business. So they're always blaming someone else. Whether it's not having the car or not having the proper price for the vehicle, because a lot can vary. Customers can be very picky, and sometimes they want what you don't have.
All right. And how did you improve your sales ability? Would you say just working the job? Did you research anything on the internet? Did you read any good books that helped you out?
It's a practice. You just practice your craft. The depending on the person, some people are fine with being average, and then there's those that are looking to get better. So they try to constantly keep learning. I do a lot of research on the products. I make sure that I'm aware of my inventory at all times. That's important. You might have cars that come up and customers in the past that are looking for those cars. As far as books go, I've read a couple books, but it's not really my strong suit. Most of the experience is on the field, and kind of just learn as you go.
All right, Chris. So do you have any advice for any new car salesmen that are new to the position?
Yeah, I would recommend that they try to learn a little bit from every single salesperson, manager. Everyone has something different to teach. They have different styles. You're just trying to look for a style that suits your needs, and trying to figure out what it's gonna take to sell the customers a call, or ultimately, yeah,
like
I
find a mentor in your
it,
into your job, or
it's good to find a mentor, but for the most part, you want to try to learn something from everyone. They all have something that they're strong suits anyway, at the least, that's gonna help you better yourself when you're approaching customers, when you're helping them with your needs. You want to try to remember that your customers, they have a lot of choices from where they can buy. There's other salespeople that can help them out, even if that's your own work. But your goal is to make sure that you make them comfortable by listening to their needs, and you see them as future customer, not just a one-stop shop. You want to make sure that you're trying to build their loyalty, as far as any questions they have there, they know that they can come back to you and trust you. It's always best to.
well, thanks for coming on and giving us this inside scoop and being a car salesman. Again, this is Christian Estevez. I'll put his Instagram, and you got an Instagram, right?
Yes, yes.
You're willing to take customers, right, from near and far?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere. We have
So-
customers from pretty much across the country. Depends on the vehicle they're looking at.
So I'll put your contact info down in case someone's looking to purchase a car, maybe wants some advice from you. And yeah, thank you for coming on. And I'm Rob Review. This is Christian Estevez, and I give this career 2 thumbs up. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Pleasure being here.
Yeah, it's been fun, and glad to have you back anytime, dude.